To bring you some breaking news, we have heard in the last few moments Boris Johnson will not stand for the Tory leadership, saying that despite having the support of the MPs required to run, you remember he needs the support of at least 100 MPs, Boris Johnson had come to the conclusion this would simply not be the right thing to do, as you can't govern effectively unless you have a united party in Parliament. So, breaking news in the last few moments, Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister, will not be standing for the Tory leadership. He says that he did have the support of 100 MPs. You remember you need 100 MPs to get on the ballot for the leadership. So despite having that support, the number of MPs needed to run, he's come to the conclusion, and this is a quote from Boris Johnson, this would simply not be the right thing to do, as you can't govern effectively unless you have a united party in Parliament. Well, we can go to Liz Bates now in Westminster. A lot of speculation, Liz, about whether or not Boris Johnson would have the numbers and about whether or not he would run. Now we have an answer.
We do. This is a question that we've been asking over and over again for the last couple of days. Finally, we know the answer to it. Boris Johnson is not going to run in this leadership contest. This is quite an extraordinary bit of news this evening. If there's one thing that we can have come to rely on when it comes to Boris Johnson, he can certainly provide a lot of political drama, and he has certainly done that in this latest Conservative leadership race. If you remember, this has all happened extremely quickly. He flew back from his holiday on Saturday. He was on holiday in the Caribbean with his wife and his children. He came back into London. He very quickly cobbled together a campaign team. He released a couple of pictures of him calling colleagues. He's had a lot of big-name backers rowing behind him. All the time, of course, clearly Rishi Sunak has been running away with the campaign when it comes to nominations from Conservative MPs. And he, in the end, declared his candidacy this morning. Boris Johnson never officially entered this campaign, but he has been, and make no doubt about it, he has been running a campaign to re-enter number 10. One of the oddities of this campaign, though, has been that his allies and people that were working on that campaign team with him have been briefing journalists and saying publicly that he had the numbers to get onto the ballot tomorrow. Now, if that was true, that would have meant that the competition was essentially sewn up for him, because that would mean that the next stage of it is the party membership. We know he was a big favourite with Conservative party members. I think there's now a question mark over whether that claim that he had those 100 backers in the Conservative Party was ever true, because at this very late stage he has pulled out of this contest. And I think it's fair to say that given the numbers as they stand, this very much leaves the path open now for Rishi Sunak to take over in number 10. He is the one with the support among Conservative MPs. He has way over the threshold of 100 that is needed. The question now, and I think this will be interesting over the next few hours, over tonight, into tomorrow morning, where do Boris Johnson's supporters go? Because he may not have had 100 in the end, but he certainly had, in public, 60. There will have been more backers for Boris Johnson in private. Who will they support? Could Penny Mordaunt now get to that 100 threshold? She is still a candidate in this race. If she does, and she ends up on the ballot with Rishi Sunak, then the pair of them will be voted on by the Conservative Party membership. I don't think either of them are a clear favourite looking at the latest polls, so that would be an interesting contest. But as I say, absolutely no lack of political drama once again from Boris Johnson.
It really would have been the comeback of all comebacks, Liz. We have had some more from the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, saying in a statement, "I believe I am well placed to deliver a Conservative victory in 2024. And tonight I can confirm that I've cleared the very high hurdle of 102 nominations, including a proposer and a seconder, and I could put my nomination in tomorrow," he says. He goes on to say, "There is a very good chance that I would be successful in the election with Conservative Party members and that I could indeed be back in Downing Street on Friday. But in the course of the last days, I've sadly come to the conclusion that this would simply not be the right thing to do. You can't govern effectively unless you have a united party in Parliament. He also said that due to the failure to reach a deal with Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt, I'm afraid the best thing is that I do not allow my nomination to go forward and commit my support to whoever succeeds. I believe I have much to offer, but I'm afraid that this is simply not the right time, the former Prime Minister has said.